Welcome to the Gym and Tonic Podcast. I'm your host, Shanaye from SK Bodyworks. This is a podcast where I share valuable education, insight, and strategies around all things health, fitness, nutrition, weight loss, and mindset, mixed in with some laughs, a whole lot of balance, and a few ums along the way. If you're ready to make your weight loss and fitness goals a reality, you've come to the right place, because through these episodes, I'm going to help you live a healthy but balanced life, lose the weight, and become the best version of you possible. Let's go, girlfriend. Hello and welcome back to the Gym and Tonic Podcast, and happy first day of spring. I'm so excited for this warmer weather and have been loving the warmer weather that we've recently had. And I also cannot wait until daylight savings. We've got literally about another month for that, which is going to be so good. And it has actually been a minute since my last podcast episode, and it's been a little bit of a crazy busy season of life for me. I've had a little bit going on. There has been a lot of things happening in business. I've launched weight loss formula for the third time through. This is essentially my 12-week group coaching program, and I've actually made it continuous enrollment, which I'm so excited for, because it's gonna allow me to create an even greater impact, and people also don't have to wait every 3 or so months to actually sign up to it. They can enroll at any time. Obviously it is capped at a certain number of people at any one given time, but yes, I'm so excited for that. I've also been creating organizing, and have just recently launched a free Move for Mental Health event, which I'm so excited. I am collaborating with Are You OK? I'm collaborating with Oz Active and local MP Susan Templeman for this event to raise some much needed awareness around the critical connection between both exercise and mental health. So this is happening on the Saturday, the 21st of September at Windsor High School. So if you are around, I would love for you to come along. It is really for you if you are wanting to understand that connection between mental health and exercise, and really, I guess, inspire you into action to improve not only your physical health, but also your mental well-being as well. There's going to be a speaking component of the day and also a free exercise component of the day. So yes, I will actually pop the link for that in the show notes below. And then just in between that, there's just been life admin. I'm also close to capacity with my one-on-one clients. I do still have a few spots left. But yeah, so it's been a little bit chaotic, and then even like social events on top of that. So that is why I have not been as consistent with my podcast episodes. However, in saying that, I do have a guest planned to come on to the podcast in the next one, which is going to be in about 2 weeks from now. So I'm very excited for that. It's going to be around a topic that is going to be very relatable for many, many women. So if you listened to the last podcast episode, which dropped on the 1st of August, you would already know about the monthly challenges that I'm bringing or have brought to the podcast. And I guess a quick recap on what this is basically monthly challenges will drop every single month on the Gym and Tonic podcast, which is obviously exclusive to the podcast and my community. They drop on the 1st of every month. And given that today is the 1st of September, I'm going to drop this month's challenge, which I'm very excited for. But before I do actually talk about September's challenge, I want to just quickly explain to you again the purpose of these challenges, I should say. And the idea of these challenges is to really up-level ourselves, to challenge ourselves, to grow, to get ourselves outside of our comfort zone, to essentially become more expansive versions of ourselves, take action, because we know that action is required in order to bring our goals to life. Without action, we are not going to achieve them. And basically step into the best versions of ourselves possible. So that is the idea of these challenges. And I want to inspire you to be able to join in and take action on these, because they are little things that you can do each month that are going to help you grow and up level. And again, really just step into that best version of you. And when I say, I guess, ourselves, like step into the best version of ourselves. As I mentioned last month, I too am going to be doing these challenges with you every single month because we are doing this together as a community. And if you are in my free online community group over on Facebook, you would have seen that I completed last month's challenge, which was the challenge for last month was essentially to do something that you had or that you have wanted to do for a while, but you just haven't. So you would have seen, if you are in there, what I did for that month. And so many of you also reached out to me with what you challenged yourself to do in August, which I loved to hear. And if you haven't as yet listened to August's episode or challenge, or you have listened to it but you haven't done it, I am calling you out to call you up. Remember that if nothing changes, nothing changes. So let's move right on to September's challenge. So this month, I am challenging you to take the uncomfortable action over the comfortable action. So let me say that again. This month, I am challenging you to take the uncomfortable action over the comfortable action. And what I mean by this is essentially making the quote unquote harder choice this month. The, I should choice, and I'm sure we've all been there in different areas of our lives. But, when maybe, you're doing something and you think to yourself, I should be doing XYZ instead, insert whatever action, because that action is actually going to get you closer to your goals and is, aligned action with what you're wanting to become a reality for yourself. But then you don't, and you just keep doing the same thing. That is why we get stuck on our journeys. That is why our reality does not change. That is why we feel frustrated that we are going around in circles again and again and again, because we are constantly choosing the comfortable action and we aren't challenging ourselves. We aren't getting outside of our comfort zone and taking the action that we know is required to get to our goals. So like I said, this month, you are going to take the uncomfortable action over the comfortable action. And that doesn't need to be that it needs to be extreme, like you need to go jump out of a plane and parachute, or, it doesn't need to be anything extreme like that. It could literally be like, maybe you come home from work and you sit yourself on the couch, turn on the TV, and you start watching some Netflix or a series or a show or whatever it might be. And in that moment, it might be like, okay, I should be going for a walk because that's what I told myself this morning that I was going to do, and I'm going to follow through with the things that I say that I'm going to do. So it could be taking that uncomfortable action. So instead of watching that Netflix show, it could be getting outside, going for a walk, and then coming back and watching the Netflix show. So it's really just going to be about taking that uncomfortable action, no matter how big or small that might be. It literally could be the smallest of things, right? So I want you to, become conscious of that, because everything that we do is essentially a choice. And when we can really become conscious and consciously make our choices, that is when we will start living a different reality. Because remember, if we take different action, we are going to get a different result. Just like the saying goes, if nothing changes, nothing changes. If we keep doing the same thing, we'll get the same result. And, if we start to take different action, that will help us to create a different result for ourselves. And obviously, if that action is aligned with your goals, then you can absolutely watch your reality start to shift the more that you take that uncomfortable action and the more that you consistently, consciously make those choices, right? And when we are going through life and going through the motions and unconsciously, I mumbled up that word, and, when we're going through the motions, because, let's face it, that is life. Sometimes we just get really busy. We're not focusing. We're not being consciously aware. We're just, doing the same thing every day. We get up, brush our teeth, we get in the car, we drive, and, we're not even aware of the turns we're taking, getting to the destination. I'm sure everyone's probably done that before. You've got somewhere and it's like, oh, fuck, how did I get here? Like, I didn't even remember driving past this place. Or, that's because you're you're unconscious. Your subconscious is basically controlling you, and our subconscious controls 95% of our day. So yeah, when we're going through the motions and we're unconsciously walking through life, that is when we're also making our choices unconsciously, and we probably aren't even aware of it. Just like I said, when you're in the car driving, you're not even aware of it until you get there and you're like, oh shit. And you may not even, when you get there, be aware of that. You might just go straight into work and not even think twice about it, right? And you'll probably find that this month's challenge will actually help you become more aware of the choices that you are making on a daily basis. And the first step to any change is awareness. It all starts with awareness, because we cannot change something that we are not aware of, right? So that will be a huge benefit of taking and really starting to become aware of what is the uncomfortable action for me to take, because I know this is comfortable right now, but what is uncomfortable? What can I do instead or differently that's going to be more supportive of my goals? And you'll also probably start to become more, not even probably, you will start to become more comfortable with the uncomfortable. So the more that you take that uncomfortable action, the more comfortable that is going to become, because you are stepping up to a new level. You're becoming a more expansive version of yourself. And, that is essentially growth. Getting comfortable with the uncomfortable. That is how we grow. That is how we up level. That is how we evolve, expand, and like I said, up level ourselves and our lives. So that is a challenge for September. I want you to make sure that you are sharing your progress and the action that you are taking in my online community on Facebook. I am going to pop that in the show notes below as well, the link for that, so you can join if you're not already a part of that. And as mentioned last month, I am also going to share with you every episode what I will actually be doing for these monthly challenges as well. And, I guess I hope that I can inspire you to get into action and maybe give you some ideas and some inspiration. And, like I said before, we're doing this together. So this month, I am going to commit to taking the uncomfortable action over the comfortable action. And obviously, I cannot tell you exactly what this is until it happens. So I will make a post later this month in the online community group. But in line with this month's challenge, I am actually going to be starting my own 75 hard challenge this month. However, it is going to be my own version of 75 hard, which I'm going to talk about in a moment. And I would really encourage you, if this is something that you're like, oh, I've always wanted to do something like that. I've always wanted to really get outside my comfort zone. I feel like I need this to help me stay accountable and, step into the version that you want to become of yourself and, create new habits that are aligned with who you want to be so you can live life the way that you want to. Then I encourage you to join in on this challenge with me, which I'll talk more about in a moment. But if you don't know what the 75 hard challenge, like what 75 hard is, essentially like the traditional version of 75 hard, which was actually created by a guy named Andy Frisella. And basically what it involves is doing a set of actions every single day for 75 days. And if you don't complete everything in, let's say you're up to day 10 and you miss one thing, or you drink 2 liters of water instead of like almost 4 liters of water, then you have to start the 75 days all over again. Same as if you get to day 72 and you miss one of your workouts, you've got to start the challenge all over again. It is a very strict challenge, and the daily actions are part of the challenge, a part of 75 hard are: number 1, following a structured diet. Number 2 is completing 2 45-minute workouts a day, with one of those workouts being outside, rain, hail, or shine. Number 3 is drinking a gallon of water, which is equivalent to roughly 3.8 liters. Number 4 is read 10 pages of a self-development book. And number 5 is take a progress picture. So they are the 5 challenges of the 75 hard challenge. That is like the traditional challenge. And I personally think and believe that the 75 that 75 hard is quite an extreme challenge. It's quite extreme, right? And for the general population, it is probably not the best approach to take, in my opinion. And yes, I think that there's amazing benefits if you can, come out the other end of it and, complete it and, the amazing things that you'll see on the other side of that. But for those that are maybe, beginners, maybe with even, working out and things like that, maybe you're finding it hard to get 2 or 3 workouts in a week. 2 workouts every single day is a lot. And if you're struggling to get maybe 2 or 3 workouts in a week, it's going to be pretty extreme, pretty challenging, and pretty unrealistic for you to be, going and jumping up from 2 workouts a week roughly to 2 workouts every single day for 75 days. And it's probably also a recipe for injuring yourself as well. So, and even if, like I said, you don't have a lot of experience with exercise, you don't know what to do for your workouts, you aren't enjoying it. Like, I do not encourage someone to do something that they're not enjoying, because the reality is they're not going to stick to it and it's not going to be enjoyable. You want to obviously, take action towards things that are aligned with you and who you want to be, which I'll talk more about in a second. And, even if you don't have a lot of experience with obviously exercise, like I just mentioned, but maybe you currently don't have any self-trust and you don't follow through on the things that you say that you're going to do. It is going to be very, very difficult to do this 75 hard for one day, let alone 75 days, right? I believe that it really creates an all or nothing mentality, which I believe sabotages more weight loss, health, fitness, and nutrition goals than anything else. So, and if you've been listening to me on my episodes or following me on social media, or you've worked with me before, you would know by now that I do not believe in extreme approaches or diets. So like I said, I'm going to be doing my own version of 75 hard. So I'm going to customize it to my current goals in line with, the changes that I'm wanting to make in my life, and ultimately the things that are going to support me in becoming the best version of me possible. So that is not just related to, fitness, health, nutrition, all of the things. I'm encouraging you to actually join in on this challenge, which I'll talk about more in just a second. But I want you to really customize it to something that you want to do, like to the changes that you want to make in your life. And like, for example, I'm actually still deciding on exactly what my 5 actions are going to be for 75 hard. But so far I'm thinking, number 1 is setting a work boundary. So that is going to be more than likely finish work and essentially log off my computer by 5:45 p.m. at the latest every day. Number 2 is a daily 30-minute walk. Number 3 is reading 8 pages of my book, which currently I'm reading a book called Worthy. It's by Jamie Lee Kern. I don't know if that's how you say her last name. It's something along those lines. Number 4 is waking up to my first alarm, because since I hit burnout, I have gotten in a little bit of a habit of actually snoozing my alarm, and I do not want to do that. So obviously I'm, making sure that I'm listening to my body, but number 4 is waking up to my first alarm. And then number 5 is meditating for 10 to 15 minutes a day. So these things are in line with the changes that I'm wanting to make in my lifestyle, and are going to help me step into the best version of me possible, and are aligned with my current goals. So I am encouraging you, if you would like to join in and customize 75 hard to you. If you are very experienced with training, you are very up for a challenge, maybe you're an borderline athlete, if you want to do the traditional 75 hard, perfect, go ahead. But for most people, almost all people, even me, I right now would not go ahead and do the traditional 75 hard challenge, because 1, my exercise since coming back into burnout, going up to 2 workouts every single day is not going to be realistic for me. And it's only my body is actually still recovering from burnout. So that is not going to be a good idea for me. It's not aligned with my goals. So I want you to customize it to you. This 75 Hard and customizing it to you is going to help you build self-trust to follow through on the things that you say that you want to do. And, again, that comes back to taking the uncomfortable action and consciously choosing, because everything in life is simply a choice. So start walking through life with your eyes open, not closed, and be aware of the actions and things that you're taking. So I'm not going to talk for too much longer because this episode's gotten a little bit long for this month's challenge, but I will be staying active in the Facebook group. I'm going to be posting in there soon, probably over the next couple of days, in relation to the 75 Hard Challenge for those that want to join in, and we'll even set a start date for September so we can all stay accountable. I did actually put up a story on my socials maybe a week and a half ago or so now, and I had mentioned that I'm thinking of doing it and who'd be interested in joining me, and there was quite a few of you who actually expressed their interest. So let's do this as a community so we can really step into the best versions of ourselves and ultimately change our fucking lives. So that is all for today's episode. Definitely please stay updated in the community group. Keep me updated with the challenge for this month. And I cannot wait to see you on the next episode. Bye for now.